The fire marshal's expression as he stared at the bare crystal altar in my backyard was the kind of look that brands itself into your memory forever. Behind him, 3 members of the HOA Wellness Committee stood lined up in identical white robes, gripping Palo Santo sticks and Tupperware containers labeled moon water. Do not drink. And at the center of the chaos was Marjorie Dale, HOA president, absolutely losing her mind. "You cannot shut down our ceremony," she shrieked. The community voted. This sauna is a shared spiritual resource. The fire marshal, entirely unmoved by her volume, lifted his clipboard toward my cedar sauna, the one wired into my electrical panel on my deeded lot behind my fence. "Ma'am," he said flatly, "this is not a community amenity. It is Mr. Lake's private sauna. You've been conducting unpermitted group steam rituals inside it using candles, combustible oils, and zero ventilation." I raised a hand. And also I added, they called me at 5:46 a.m. to demand emergency access so they could reset the neighborhood's vibrational field. One of the robed women gasped. "You're taking that out of context." The marshal blinked twice, then turned to me. "Mr. Lake, can you confirm you did not authorize any of this?" I nodded. "I did not authorize the cult." Marjorie spun toward me, eyes blazing. "You agreed," she screeched. "You didn't answer my call. Silence is consent. It's in the bylaws." The marshal looked from her to the glowing red violation, notice taped meticulously to the side of the sauna. "Well," he muttered, "this is going to be an interesting report. My name is Eli Lake, and all I ever wanted was a quiet house with one stupid luxury. No boat, no golf membership, no vintage car restoration habit. Just a sauna. I'm a software engineer who spends 12 hours hunched over a laptop like a question mark, slowly dissolving into anxiety. Sometime in my 30s, my back and brain staged a joint intervention. Fix this or we quit. So when I scraped together money for a house, I bought a modest 3-bedroom in Pine View Crossing, a gated HOA suburb outside Ashwood with ponds, walking trails, and a brochure that used the word amenities so many times it read like a threat. The place also had rules about fence height, approved mulch pallets, and maximum seasonal wreath diameter. But the price was fair, and the yard was big enough for the freestanding cedar sauna kit I'd been fantasizing about for months. I did everything by the book. Pulled permits, passed electrical inspection, checked setback maps. The sauna became my sanctuary. No phone, no meetings, just me on a heated bench listening to my stress hiss its way out through sweat. Enter Marjorie Dale, Pine View Crossing HOA president. I met her on day 2 when she materialized in my driveway like she'd risen from a patch of hydrangeas, clutching a clipboard and a reusable cup that said #BossBabe in gold script. "Welcome to Pine View Crossing," she trilled. "I'm Marjorie, HOA president." I nodded. "Eli, lot 12. Her gaze darted past me, scanning my yard with TSA-level intensity. "I see a permit posted. What's being installed?" "Just a small backyard sauna," I said. "All above board. City approved." She froze, completely froze. "A sauna," she repeated slowly. "Like a hot box. Like something old Finnish men sit in so they don't scream at people." "That's the general idea." Her smile snapped back, tight and shiny. "Well, we do have rules about outbuildings. I'll need to review this with the architectural committee." "Already did," I said, holding up the stamped approval. For half a second I saw a flash of pure bureaucratic fury, the face someone makes when they realize they can't stop you with paperwork. She recovered quickly. "Of course. We're a wellness-focused community. After all, maybe your little sauna can be part of something bigger." I should have caught the way she said bigger, like a supervillain imagining a new lair. Instead, I replied with a sentence that would haunt me. "It's just for me." The sauna went up, and it was glorious. Cedar walls, soft lighting, a little electric stove with lava rocks. I even did an embarrassing happy dance the first night I used it. For 2 blissful weeks, life was quiet. Then the flyers appeared, bright, glossy, placed under every door in Pine View Crossing. Pine View Wellness Initiative. Reclaim your energy. Reset your frequency. Community sound circles. Details soon. At the bottom, in tiny print, With gracious support from Lot 12, I stormed to the HOA office, aka the front room of Marjorie's house, that looked like an Instagram influencer's candle ad. She beamed at me. "Eli, perfect timing. We've been meaning to loop you in." I slapped the flyer onto her desk. "What is this?" Her voice softened into patronizing kindergarten mode. "Oh, honey, no need for alarm. We're a wellness community. We formed a wellness committee. Naturally, we're integrating your sauna into our program." "My sauna," I repeated, singular, "on my lot, paid for by me." She nodded sweetly. "Right, and you'll earn community credit. We're offering you the opportunity to host our sauna circles. Think of it as spiritual Airbnb." I blinked. "No." She didn't seem to process it. "No what?" "No, you cannot use my sauna. It's not a shared amenity. It's not in any HOA document." Her smile twitched. "We all sacrifice for Pine View's good," she said. "The board agrees that because your sauna is visible from the walking path, it has community impact. That gives us jurisdiction." "That sentence is not real," I said. "You can't just toss HOA jargon together like refrigerator magnets and call it law." Her eyes narrowed into reptile mode. "Are you refusing to contribute to community wellness?" "I'm refusing to let strangers sweat all over my cedar bench," I replied. That week, the violation notices began. Notice 1. Structure not listed as community amenity. Submit revised usage plan. Notice 2. Steam visible above fence during non-designated wellness hours. Notice 3. Sauna allegedly left on past 10 p.m., causing energetic disturbance for adjacent lots. Yes, they wrote energetic disturbance in an official letter. I wrote back, "Dear HOA, my sauna is a permitted private accessory structure. You have no authority over who uses it, the guy who paid for it." They responded with a certified letter. Failure to cooperate with the wellness initiative may result in fines. I called a real lawyer. He laughed wheezingly for 30 full seconds. "They can't do that," he said. "An HOA can't magically declare your private property communal because it matches their vibe." "Can they fine me?" I asked. "If they try," we sent a letter, "and maybe a dictionary definition of easement." I thought that was the end. Then came the 5:46 a.m. phone call. It was Tuesday. I know the exact time because I woke up convinced someone had died. My phone buzzed like it was trying to burrow into the nightstand. Half asleep, I answered. "Hello," I croaked. "Lie." An urgent voice said, "It's Marjorie. We need the sauna." I stared at the ceiling. "Do you know what time it is?" "Yes," she said, offended. "We're on the cusp of sunrise. It's the optimal window to realign the subdivision's energy. The Wellness Committee has voted for an emergency purification ritual." "Congratulations," I said. "What does that have to do with me?" "We require access to the sauna," she snapped. "We begin in 14 minutes. Put on pants and open the side gate." I sat upright. "No, absolutely not. You cannot obstruct community healing. You shouldn't have put a wellness structure where the community can see it," she snapped. "I am outside your gate as we speak. If you don't answer, I will assume implied consent." I yanked on sweatpants and stomped to the back door. Sure enough, the motion lights were blazing. I pulled the curtains aside. 5 women stood at my gate in matching white yoga robes, each holding candles and what looked like a crystal salad bowl. Marjorie had her phone pressed to her ear, glaring at my window like she could shoot consent lasers through it. I hit the intercom button. My voice boomed from the tiny speaker. "Marjorie, I'm not letting you into my yard. Go home." Her head snapped toward the camera. She planted her hands on her hips. "For the record," she announced, "the HOA board has exercised its right to access shared facilities. You're being extremely uncooperative." I watched her try my gate latch. Watch her realize it was locked. Watch her turn to the other row brigade and say, "Fine, document this. He's obstructing wellness." Immediately, the women began photographing my fence, my sauna, and probably the air molecules around them. I called my lawyer. He sighed. "Start a paper trail. And you may want to invest in more cameras." 2 days later, I got an email from the city zoning office. Subject line: complaint received. Unpermitted commercial spa activity. Attached was an anonymous accusation claiming I was running an illegal backyard spa, hosting mysterious rogue women at odd hours for services. I sent it to my lawyer, grabbed my folder permits, inspection receipts, and a week of camera footage showing the HOA wellness SWAT team treated my yard like Checkpoint Charlie, and marched directly into zoning. Mark, the zoning officer, perpetually exhausted, watched 30 seconds of the 5:46 a.m. Crystal Crusade. "You're clearly not running a spa," he said. "You're being harassed by people who think they own your sauna." "Correct," I said. "What can I file a return?" He smiled like a man who enjoyed what he was about to say. "You can file a harassment report. And by the way, if they keep using your structure for group activities, that's a separate violation on their end." "Group activities?" I echoed. He nodded. "They called last month asking how they could designate a resident's private sauna as a shared meditation chamber. We told them that was illegal." I blinked. "So they asked permission, got denied, and immediately pivoted to weaponize complaints." "Looks that way." "And the candles and incense they use?" "That's a fire code issue." A delicious little spark ignited in my brain. "Tell me everything." By the end of the meeting, I had direct lines to zoning, the fire marshal, and a brand new hobby: letting the HOA film their own downfall. And they did. Oh, they dug so deep. A week after the Dawngate incident, I got an email. "Dear Eli, since you have refused to participate in community wellness in good faith, the Wellness Committee has voted to implement a mandatory sauna access schedule. Members may reserve ritual slots during approved hours. You are expected to have the sauna warmed, cleaned, and prepared for group usage. Failure to comply may result in fines." Attached was a pastel-colored spreadsheet. My private sauna had been carved into time blocks labeled: Monday, couples alignment circle; Wednesday, feminine power steam; Friday, HOA board intent setting sweat. I stared at the spreadsheet for a minute. Then I laughed. Not normal laughter. The kind you hear from people who have seen the abyss and decided to poke it with a stick. Then I did 3 things. Forwarded the email to my lawyer. Forwarded it to the fire marshal. Installed a key padlock and another camera aimed directly at the sauna door. I didn't reply to them. 2 nights later, around 9 p.m., the cameras caught them. 6 women, including Marjorie, slipping through my yard after hopping the walking path fence, moving to the shrubs like a Reiki tactical unit. They wore robes, carried tote bags, and had a portable speaker blasting pre-game meditation music. One woman jabbed random numbers into the keypad. When that failed, someone pulled out a screwdriver. They actually removed the latch plate and popped the door. My lawyer later called it forced entry with intent to occupy a private accessory structure. I called it, they broke into my damn sauna. They filed inside, chattering. "This is so much better than a club spa." Marjorie, "Crank up the heat. If he wanted to use it, he should have been more community-minded." Then came the candles. Then the essential oils. Then the portable speaker, now playing a native flute meditation remix with EDM bass drops. They were in there for 40 minutes. 40 minutes of open flame next to an electric heater. 40 minutes of pouring essential oils onto heating stones. 40 minutes of ritual shrieking, loud enough to make my neighbor's dog start howling. My neighbor Raphael texted, "Bro, are you home? Because there are cult ladies in your shed chanting about interest rates." I was at a friend's house. I opened the live feed. And, being at heart a petty rule-loving man, I called the fire marshal. By the time he and his crew arrived, I wasn't there, but my cameras captured all of it. The marshal knocking, the door cracking open, steam rolling out like a horror movie, 6 guilty faces, and 1 crystal on a pedestal. "Ladies," he said, shining a flashlight inside, "this structure is not rated for this many occupants. Are those candles? We are in a private spiritual ceremony." Marjorie barked, "This is community-sanctioned wellness." "Ma'am," he replied, "this is a fire hazard in a wooden building on property you do not own." He shut it down instantly, slapped a large red notice on the door. "Unsafe. Use prohibited pending investigation. The next morning, I stood beside him while he reviewed his notes. You did not give them permission, he confirmed. Not even a little. And they repeatedly attempted to classify this as a common facility. He nodded grimly. We'll be citing them, not you. Your attorney should handle the rest. He already was. The power shift became official when my lawyer sent a surgically devastating 12-page letter to the HOA board, CCING zoning, the fire marshal, and the city legal department. Highlights included harassment of a homeowner, unauthorized entry, attempted appropriation of private property, unapproved group activity, and a final warning about civil litigation and restraining orders. The board, who had previously operated on pure Marjorie said so energy, suddenly realized they might have to testify under oath about sound ascensions. Shockingly, enthusiasm plummeted. They called an emergency HOA meeting. Half the neighborhood came because the rumors were incredible. There was a raid. The fire marshal shut down the Moon Circle cult. They boiled essential oils like Lululemon witches. The room was packed. Folding chairs. Stale coffee. Tension so thick you could butter toast with it. Marjorie sat at the front table, red-faced and furious, with a stack of note cards. Before she could speak, George, the vice president, cleared his throat. Tonight's agenda is, well, this. He gestured to the projector. My lawyer had prepared a highlight reel. We watched the 5:46 a.m. wellness ambush, the screwdriver break-in, the fire marshal busting the sauna like a wellness speakeasy, the crystal altar glowing in the steam like a boss-level item. The room was silent, except for the audio of them chanting. And now we call upon the spirit of lower HOA dues. Someone snorted. Someone else full-on laughed. George looked like he wanted to crawl under the table. My lawyer stood, calm, cold, clinical. This footage, he said, combined with the city's findings, establishes a pattern of trespass, harassment, and abuse of authority. Mr. Lake's private structure was used without consent. When he refused, the HOA attempted to punish him. He lifted a stapled packet for everyone to see. You have two choices, he said calmly. From my client's perspective, you can remove Mrs. Dale and any committee members involved, formally disavow everything they've done, and sign an agreement promising never to interfere with Mr. Lake's property again. Or, he tapped the packet, prepare to face us in court, where we will gladly enter all of this into the public record. His smile widened just a hair. And we all know how thrilled potential buyers get when they discover pending occult litigation in their disclosure forms. A wave of uneasy whispers moved through the room. Property values had now taken the stage. Someone in the back muttered, "My house listing just went live." Marjorie shot to her feet. "This is slander," she barked. "We acted for the good of the entire community. You should be grateful. Our rituals were protecting this neighborhood." A man in a wrinkled golf polo raised his hand. "I live directly behind Eli," he said. "Your protection sounded like a goat sacrifice happening inside a hot yoga class. My baby didn't sleep for an hour." A woman chimed in, "You told us the sauna was already community property. You said the city had approved it. You lied." The board members, sensing the building heat and wanting no part of it, pivoted with Olympic-level speed. George fumbled through his papers. Given this situation, the board will now accept a motion regarding Mrs. Dale's position. A hand flew up. Remove her. Another seconded immediately. They voted on the spot. It was not even remotely close. Marjorie stared around the room, horrified, as the same neighbors she'd bossed around for years raised their hands against her. "You cannot do this," she hissed. "I am Pine View Crossing." "You were," George corrected. "Effective immediately, you're removed as president." He turned toward me. "Mr. Lake, the board apologizes for all of this." My lawyer gave a curt nod. "We'll prepare the settlement. As long as the board complies, Mr. Lake will not pursue litigation, and you will naturally cover his legal fees." The board collectively deflated, but accepted their fate. Then the fire marshal, who had been quietly watching from the side, cleared his throat. "And just to reiterate," he said, We've already issued fines to Mrs. Dale personally for the unsafe use of a structure she does not own. The total is $850. He scanned the room, then added, any further rituals held in unapproved spaces will result in additional penalties, possibly criminal ones. His eyes flicked deliberately to the crystal necklace hanging at Marjorie's throat. I'd suggest using those stones as paperweights instead of fire hazards. The color drained from her face so quickly it was almost visible. $850? She whispered, staring at the marshal as though he'd spoken another language. Her fingers trembled as they clutched the table's edge.